Hi, and welcome to the Delight Knits podcast. My name is Emily, and this is where I like to talk about all that I have knit on, spun on for the last 2 months in this episode. Today is Saturday, May 31st. So it's been quite some time. I've got a lot to talk about and not a lot to show you because a lot of what I've done is not with me anymore. So I guess we can just get into it. You can find me everywhere on the internet pretty much as Delight Knits. Instagram is Delight_knits, and Ravelry is Delight Knits, one word without a space, and my email is delightknits@gmail.com, and I'll have all those linked in the description box below. And I think that's it, really. I forgot to pull out all my purchases. We may do that in a little bit. I am wearing my Dear Duomo number 3. And I talk about this quite a bit in my last podcast, episode 63. So this is episode 64. It is fingering weight, heavily modified, and all those modifications are in last episode. And yarn is Ruby and Roses, plump rose base, and I absolutely love it. The weather is getting warm out, but my husband likes to keep the house cold, so I throw these sweaters on all the time. And I'm gonna stop trying to say so. Let's go through some finished objects. My hair's a mess. It's Saturday. It's quiet time. It's fine. We podcast when we can. So, first finished object is my husband's socks. I was working on these last podcast 2 months ago, and I finished them, and he has worn them quite a bit, so please keep that in mind when you're looking at them. They're well loved already. He is a size like 14, 15 and has a pretty wide foot. So these are, and it's out of, oh gosh, I can't even remember the yarn. Uni something. It's right there. Okay. The yarn is Universal Yarn. Uni Merino is the brand. I will say I'm not the biggest fan of it. I'm not sure if I would buy it again. It's split quite a bit, but it's a 75% superwash, 25% nylon in the color Ivy. And so that, there's one and there's two. This is the third pair of socks I've knit him. They've got my hair everywhere because I am shedding like crazy. For his socks, I cast on 80 stitches. I did 2x2 ribbing for a little bit, for 20 rounds, I think. I did a 50 round leg. I do a slip stitch, heel flap, and gusset. And for the slip stitch, I do 20 repeats of the down and back, like 20 long. When on mine, I do 16. And then when I decrease down to 76 stitches. So I decreased down 4 more than what I had cast on with, and just my normal toe. I usually write like my sock recipes in my Ravelry project pages. I don't have a picture of these. Maybe I'll try and grab one when I'm done with this for Ravelry. Not the best at doing that kind of stuff, but I write my toe differently. We're about to have a visitor.
I told the door that might open it.
Hey, why don't you go sit and go watch Spider-Man?
Huh?
Go watch Spider-Man. I'm talking about my yarn.
Is that you?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
You say hi?
Hi.
Okay. Go shut the door. Hey, go.
Open it till you open it.
Leave it closed, please.
Yes.
Bye.
Hi. Oh, this one?
Bye.
Oh, this one?
Yep, close it.
Oh, this one?
Close it.
This one?
Thank you. see if we get any more interruptions. But first finished object, they're done. They've been well loved and they're great. I will try and update my project pages with that. My next finished object was, I believe, the storyboard swatches for Ruby and Roses. So she's released that collection, and if I can get this posted out today, I want to say it closes tomorrow. She keeps her pre-orders open for 2 weeks, but that collection was gorgeous. I did all of those knit swatches, and then I also did her twist loop sweater sample, which she posted a couple days, yesterday I think she posted it on her Instagram, and she talks about it on her podcast. So I will definitely have her Instagram posted, because her pictures are always 1,000 times better than what I can take. And also, I think she blocked hers. She blocked it and I did not, because we were leaving for vacation and I could mail it out before blocking it, or mail it out before vacation if I didn't block it, and I would not have had time to block it and let it dry before we left, and then she'd have to wait a week. So it just worked out better. So I've knit those two things. Her swatches are always DK weight, which is, I talked about my blanket last time, haven't touched it, but so it's DK weight, and I have a project page for those, and I include my pictures for them, and then I have like my recipe for that swatch there in that project page. The twist loop sweater, I've got like progress pictures in there, and notes. I think we did the size 1 because it was a like super drop, and I had to do, if you added more, like it's just a huge yoke. Raglan is a fairly easy sweater. We chose to use the yarn combination of 2 strands of soft rose and 1 strand of her rose gold, so 3 strands of fingering weight on a, what was it, 4.5 millimeter. It was a dense fabric, and if you aggressively blocked it, it would have been huge, because the ribbing opens up so much. But it was a joy to knit, and I loved it. My next finished object, golly, I literally have the socks. My next finished object is the baby blanket I talked about knitting, and I don't have a picture of this. I forgot to take a picture of it before I gifted it, but I was using the Lion brand Heartland, and I had Wolf Trap and White Sands, I think is what the other colorway was. I did a kind of, like I talked about, a corner to corner, where I started with the gray and I increased until I thought it was increased every other row, just knit front back, knit to the end, turn it around, knit front back, knit to the end. So I increased every row until I got to a certain point, and then I increased on one side and decreased on the other side to where I was starting to get a rectangle. And then I started striping the colors in like the rectangle section, and then I did the decreases where I was decreasing on every side in the pink. So it's kind of like it faded into each other a little bit. But that blanket is done and gifted, and that niece should be born in the next 2 weeks. So that's all that I've finished. I knit that blanket. So we went on vacation from Southwest Arkansas, where we're at. My family lives in the Dallas area. We drove there, dropped my kids off, and then me and my husband got back in the car and went to Galveston, and we went on our first cruise to Cozumel. And I only knit on that blanket in the vehicle. So we had a 4-hour drive to Dallas, 4-hour drive to Galveston, 4-hour drive back from Galveston, and then back from Dallas. Like, within that driving, I finished that blanket. Started and finished it in that trip, and it was perfect. I didn't even take it on the boat with me. It was just my car travel project, and I was so happy to get it finished. Okay, and I think that's all that I've finished in the last 2 months. It's a lot, but knitting-wise, that's all that I finished knitting-wise. We're going to split up the sections. So knitting, I've been working on some more samples, or another sample for a different dyer actually. This is in my By the Bay bag bag. I want to say this is the large. Not that you can get these anymore. I think she's done with them, sadly. But I am knitting a Market Henley by Claire Jackson for Sam of Clockwork Fabrico. I'm gonna get this out of here. This is her label, and I actually have, you saw this label last podcast because I had some fiber from hers that I had gotten at DFW Fiberfest. So Sam of Clockwork Fabrico in the newspaper colorway, and Atomic Silk Sock is the base, which is an 80% merino, 20% silk, and I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it. And she also, it smells so good. It's kind of like, it's different than Addie's, because when you get Addie of Ruby and Roses yarn, it comes in and it has that, like, it's a fairly strong smell as you're knitting it and as you're winding it, and hers has that same kind of fragrance put off. It's a different smell, but they're both great in their own. So that is the yarn. I think she sent me 5, and I'm not going to break into this one, so I'll send it to her back. But here is where I'm at. She already has a Market Henley, and I actually saw her knitting on it at DFW. So she already has one, and I think she was a test knitter, and she didn't make hardly any modifications, and now knows what she how the modifications she wanted made to make it fit better. And I have knit this pattern myself, and I am highly considering ripping it out and making these same modifications to mine. So I am almost done. I think I'm like 30-40 rows from being done. We chose the size large, but you've got a sleeve there, and you've got this here, and almost done. So here's where I'm at, size large. Everything is to pattern, needle sizes to pattern. I did add, so when you cast on, it's a drop shoulder, you cast on the back, and then you come back and pick up the front. So I did 3 extra waffle repeats in the back. And in the front, instead of adding that waffle repeats here, so you cast on the right front and the right and the left front, and then join those in the round with this Market Henley Henley, and then add your length that you added to the back there. But instead of doing that, the pattern has this to where it's like all the way up here, and it's really high. But so that was one of the modifications Sam wanted to make, was to lower the neckline. Since I added the extra 3 waffle repeats here when you're knitting straight before you start these increases on both sides, of course, and it fits, like the collar fits so much better in a much better spot, even on me. So I am a 34 inch bust. I'm smaller than what this is. This is gonna be very oversized, but it's easier to get the sense of it. So it's going to sit, and I don't have buttons. This will have buttons here. It sits so much lower than what the other one does. Sleeves, I also increase or change the increases drastically, and not so much. We did every 7th row, picked up, 106 stitches, and decreased every 7th row, and she wanted about 5.5 inch, which would be 10 to 11 inch cuff, and a 18 to 19 inch sleeve. So I'm literally almost done. I'm so happy with it. I did alternate here and there. I need to steam This is steam blocked, not quite everywhere, but it needs a good wet block too. Where was I going with that? I don't remember. Claire Jackson of Perfectly Knotted has fairly short torso and short arms, I think, compared to most. So just, her patterns are gorgeous, but keep that in mind when you do, and those are easy modifications to add length. This pattern needs a good block. Let me see, you can tell a difference. Oh yeah, right here. This is steam blocked and this is not. So it will bounce back after a little bit, but not that drastic. A wet block is needed for it. Yeah, I've totally enjoyed this. I'd started it before the twist loop sweater. Had to put it down, knit the twist loop sweater and the blanket. And then once I finished those, I've picked this up and it's flown. I've actually had to restart the sleeves. I had like this much knit on one sleeve. Was thinking it was too big, started over on the second sleeve. That turned out well, except for the decrease rate was too fast. So I ended up ripping both of those back and finishing with this, and it's ended up great. So I've greatly enjoyed working on this sample for Sam. And yeah, I do a lot of sample knits if you haven't caught on to that. I've got my notes here. Okay, next with is a pair of socks. So these socks were started for the cruise, and this is a project that I knit on when we were out and about, out of our room and such. So, and I literally finished the sock while we were there, but then it ended up being too short, so I had to rip it out and start, rip out the toe and start over the toe area. So this is, I don't think I have the yarn band. Oh well. I bought it at my local yarn store, Knit Unto Others. I use a US 0. I did 25 rounds of ribbing of 2x2 ribs, 64 stitches, slip stitch, heel flap, and gusset, and then I think I'm going to 70. I've already started the toe decreases, but since I had done the toe Kitchenered it and it was too short, I cut the yarn. So I need to add more yarn and pick up for the next sock, or after I'm done with the next sock, because I had already cast on the second sock. And this is where I'm at now. It's been put on hold while I get this sample done. It may get picked up here shortly, we'll see, but that's where I'm at on this one. Just some vanilla. I have a pair of socks in this brand of yarn, not colorway, but in this brand of yarn, and it's just a commercial. It's not West Yorkshire Spinners, but it's something I'm assuming is similar. And I might have the label, but it's not really worth looking into right now. So yeah, I've called those my cruise socks, and that's where they're at. Haven't knit myself a pair of socks in quite some time, so that's what those are for. I've knit my husband some, I knit my babysitter some, and just that. Yeah, so I'm knitting myself something. Along those same lines, I'm knitting myself a sweater, and this one's very special. So this is the bucket bag by String Crazy Bags. I absolutely love it. I have a small one too that I had my socks in. I am knitting the Traveler by Andrea Mowry. I've talked about it. I talked about it last time, saying I wanted to cast on because I finished my first hand spun garment and now I'm starting my second one. I am super pumped about this. So this was my other cruise project, and I knit this sitting on our balcony. I've posted it on Instagram, but I've done I got quite a bit done, and I have finished the body and, let me get this off, the body and the front panel. I think it's the front panel. Maybe the back panel, one of the panels. It's a bottom up construction, similar to the Dear Duomo actually, where you do bottom up and then do the front and back and yada yada. Short rows in the front and back, that kind of stuff. This is in my ZZ Textiles hand spun from her LB colorway, where I had 4 braids of it and I had like 1,400 yards. I have steam blocked it. I'm doing size 2. I didn't gauge swatch. I just went with it, and that's with hand spun. So wish me luck. It's fitting great. I did extend the body length by quite a bit because I do not like a crop. Like most people are wearing nowadays, but this is my hand spun. You've got some junk in it. And I absolutely love it. I have loved spinning or using my hand spun. So this is the first cake that I've used. Got quite a bit left over. I have it still attached to the front, and I'm going to pick up from the second cake for the back. And here's the second cake. And then I'm gonna do sleeves first. And then I'm gonna come back and do the hood or the crew. I wasn't sure if I was gonna have enough to do the hood, but since I'm almost done with the body, and I could probably cut this and get the back panel with this, but I'm going to leave it attached just so I don't have as many ends everywhere. But that's where I'm at. This is going to be what I pick up when I finish that Market Henley before my next samples come in, because they will probably be here next week. So I have absolutely loved it. I will say I spun this with I think I spun it with a S-twist for the plies, single strands, original strands. I don't know the correct terminology. The first ply to it, I did an S-twist, and then when I applied the 2 strands together, it's a 2-ply of Ravelry, and it's 16 total ounces. So this is 8 ounces and this was 8 ounces. And so I did it S and then Z. And I think I'm a thrower flicker type of a knitter. And so I think I'm undoing the twist as I knit it. So my next spin that I'll show you here in a little bit is a ZS. And I'm really excited to try knitting with that one. But I'm so ready to get this done, and even though it's probably going to be the middle of summer in the heat, I will be loving it, wearing it everywhere. But it's such a good subtle variegation. I don't have any real striping, and this pattern is super great. I just recently watched The Little Wolf Knits, and she is literally probably in this same spot, or was about in this same spot with her hand spun, and it's so fun to see everybody doing different or knitting with their hand spun and getting into the spinning. So yeah, that's where I'm at with this. Maybe I'll have it finished next on my podcast. Maybe, just maybe. Let me see. It's so funky on the needles like this, but I love it. It's gonna be great. I can't wait. I can't wait. That is all that I have knitting wise to show you. So we can go into finished objects we'll do kind of a mix of the finished objects. So I talked about dyeing yarn for a brioche point, which is one of my sweater designs that I want to reknit. So I've kind of had the idea in my head, designed it, wrote it out, knit it, and now I need to reknit it to like make some changes. But I'm wanting to do the brioche point with hand spun yarn for like the yoke part. And this is the hand spun that I had finished with it. My hand spun, so this is the fiber label. I like to do that. So it's sea glass merino. I think I'm like a sport DK. No, it's fingering sport. But this is the hand spun that I am going to use for my brioche point. And this is the yarn that I dyed to go with it. I couldn't recreate this again, but that's going to be the combination for that. So this is the finished object. This is the future knitting, although it might not happen for a bit. We will see. I've got lots of samples coming, and I just have another project in mind too. My daughter's requested a couple things. So, other finished object, I said you would see the clockwork fiber again. Here is that combo spin of clockwork fiber, and I think it was Stellar Needlecraft. I talk about it and I show off the clockwork, and it's single on the bobbin last time, and then the fiber of the blue. It's very heavily blue. It is probably a thicker, like closer sport DK. But yeah, this was merino. The merino is definitely slipperier, or I spun it thicker, but I was also trying to spin it thicker. So I'm not quite sure what I will do with this. I mean, I've got so much hand spun now that I have a lot of yarn that I need to knit through, but I don't want to stop spinning. So if this is something you'd be interested in purchasing, let me know. I love spinning, and I feel like I'm pretty consistent in getting good at it, so I'm not against selling it either. But that's this, and it's great. I love it. I don't know what else to say about it. So with that, I had some leftovers from, I think I showed you last time, leftovers from the Desert Panda Fiber Arts skein that I did, and the clockwork is what was left over there. I had finished off the blue and had quite a bit of clockwork left. So this is those two skeins together. I just watched through that last podcast to see where I was at. And I showed you the bobbin of leftovers of that purpley pink merino. And I applied those two ends together. And this is just a cute little mini. I don't even know how much yardage is left in it. I didn't do the yardage stuff, but it worked out great. I had quite a bit more of the clockwork left, so I just chain plied that. And here is how that turned out. I did like overspin the plies, but I think it turned out because in the washing process, you lose quite a bit of your like plying twist. So I am pretty dang happy with that. This is thicker. It's probably a DK. I do spin on the thinner side. So this is a 3-ply with it being chain plied. It's just kind of another chain plying practice just to keep it up. And I just wanted to clear the bobbins. So yeah, gotten some spinning done. My next one, I need to grab the labels for that. Let's see. Well, here is, I need to do this. Here's what these are. Those two. The Stellar Needlecraft, the Clockwork Fiber. Both were in merino, and those are that. So I need to put these on this in some way, so I know what it is. Just trying to keep consistency, because I haven't been putting my hand spun on Ravelry. I don't know if people do that, like finished object type thing, but we'll see. So I spun next my last two braids of fiber from DFW Fiber Fest in September of 24. I purchased Gritty Knits in a just number colorway in Falkland. And I had purchased this braid before DFW and its little fiber coat on the rocks, Falkland, 100% Falkland. So I had this braid, bringing it around, trying to find a second ply, and that's when I found Gritty Knits. And I literally just finished plying it, and I am in love. Absolutely in love. When I get off with this, and depending on how the kids are doing, I will skein this up and go ahead and wash it. I loved it. I thought about using a different braid with the Gritty Knits. So the Gritty Knits is the one that is the color changing, and then the On the Rocks is, I had quite a bit left over of that, is this one here. I need to decide. I'll probably just hold on to this and ply it with another one or something. We'll see what I end up doing with this. But that's quite a bit, and it's enough to do something with. We'll get it. We'll figure it out. I might need to purchase more bobbins. But, so the Gritty Knits is the color changing. It goes from the browns to the pinks. There's just a very little bit of orange, but there's lots of reds in it. And I'm very happy I went with the red. I almost went with the brown, which I'll show you here in a little bit. But this is 8 ounces, so they were each 4-ounce braids. They're 8 ounces in a 2-ply. And this one is the one that I spun Z-twist and then plied S-twist. I think that's right. What is it? Yes, spun Z-twist, plied S-twist, which is different direction than all of the other ones. So these are all plied or spun Z-twist, plied S-twist. That was when I was knitting with the other one, it was undoing it. So just trying something different. I do need to get to knitting it. But as we can see, not enough time in the day. So we'll get that done and off the bobbin soon, like today. I have not purchased any yarn, I don't think, but I have purchased fiber. So I'm going to go grab that box real quick. Pause this actually. Okay, so I've got all my fiber here. And it's a lot. So I think I had said last time that my April yarn of the month, fiber of the month for year fiber from my Shop La Mercerie monthly club was on the way. Ooh, April, what is April? Today? I don't remember which is which. I can't remember if I showed off this one, 40 Wink Fibers weathering, and it's a Shaniko silk blend, but here is one of those. February's was this one here, and somebody on the Discord, D-Stash Discord that I follow was selling theirs, and I absolutely love this one. It's Hidden Pond Yarns, and it's an 80% merino, 20% nylon, and this is actually March's colorway. So that pink might have been February that I just showed you. So this is March's colorway. So I have 2 braids of these now, and I will 2-ply these together. I absolutely loved the fractal that Shop La Mercerie showed off on their reveal page when they revealed it. I've loved seeing that they've spun the fibers they've spun each month. So I've got 2 of these that I'm going to spin up spin up together. Ugh. Let's try putting it all back in the box, and then I can show you my fiber when I'm done. You can tell me what I should do next too. So 2-ply fractal is what I'm planning on these 2 braids. So I've purchased one of those since you've seen me. April, I think was this one, was Wood Ash from 316 Dye Studio, and it is a Corriedale. I have not spun with Corriedale. I love this. If I could find a second one, I'm more of a 2 braid person because I feel like I could get a tea out of 2 braids. But that's just me. I like the pairing of it. This is what I almost thought of pairing with that Gertie Knits colorway. So maybe when I go to DFW Fiber Fest, I will look for combo spins ideas for these. So that was my March colorway. Yeah. And so that one's not going to get spun up for a bit because I want to pair it with something. This one is my April colorway, and it's Antique Shop from Little Fiber Co. I love Lauren's stuff. It's 100% Rambouillet, which I love spinning, and it's gorgeous. This would be perfect if the leftovers of this, if I have leftovers of this, will get spun together. And it's the same, well, this is Falkland, but this is Rambouillet, which I need to try a combo spin of like combo different breeds. But that would be gorgeous. That's what these leftovers are getting saved for. So, gorgeous, love it. Don't know what I'm going to do with it. It's one of those, if I can never get a second one, and maybe I'll do that. So that was April. No. May. January, February, March, April, May. And June's came in this week from Storyteller Stitchery. The colorway is Coastal Bloom, and it's 100% British blue-faced Leicester. Hopefully I said it right. A BFL. I've not spun with BFL. I like getting all the different fiber blends with this club, but this is gorgeous. Yeah, just another one that I purchased. I have, okay, let's see where we're at. See if I can, my next purchase, so I purchased from the Treehouse Knits Traveling the World collection is what I think it was. I got 3 different braids of fiber from that. I got Lofton Islands on her Cormo blend. Love it. The person that I learned to spin from and still go spin with on Wednesdays on my lunch break also bought one of these, and she was saying she doesn't know what she's gonna do with it. She's going through a clean out of some stuff. So I told her if she didn't think she wanted to keep it, that I would buy it from her. So I might have a second braid of this eventually. But I also have this that I purchased a while ago that would go gorgeous with. This is Rambouillet, and one of a kind. That would go really well together. And Cormo is one of Miss Patsy's favorite blends. So she also got this in the Cormo. So it'd be 2 braids there. I got 2 others of Egypt and Cario, and I'm going to 2-ply these together. They are the same base. They're the Silky Camelid Merino, 40% merino, 20% brown alpaca, 20% camel, and 20% silk. I am super excited to get into these. I have a color preference, but I think these are going to be gorgeous together. There is the blend for you to see. So Cario and Egypt. They came in like bags by themselves, but storage wise, I just need to I like this style better. How Lauren does hers. She also braids pretty tight. Okay, I still have one more fiber purchase. And this is from ZZ Textiles in her most recent in-stock shop update. I got 2 braids of 100% American Rambouillet in Atmosphere. I'm going to 2-ply these together. And yeah. So just bury me in all this fiber. Love it. And if I weren't studying for my CPA exam, I would be spinning through it quite a bit in the evenings. So that's what I've purchased. That's what I've spun. That's what I've knit on. And I think that's about it. I will see when I can podcast next. It'll happen when it happens. I'm not even going to put it on a schedule. And yeah, I hope you have a great week, month, day, whatever, and that you are enjoying what you are making. So happy knitting. Bye.